Bapat, welcome all of you with bottom of my heart in this 4-day international conference on eradication of biological and chemical weapons under the aegis of Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University, organized by MIT School of Government, Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, and supported by UNESCO Chair. Today, we all have gathered here for the day 4 and the concluding day of this very, very important seminar series. And in this conference, we have been discussing very, very important issues related to biological and chemical weapons. Some of the sessions have been so touchy that we could really feel from the talk that how dangerous and how annihilating these weapons can be. And today, we have gathered here in this very important panel, in this 9th session, to discuss the climate change, poverty, and pandemic. Is it time to recalibrate SDGs? And today, to discuss this important topic with us, we have many, many eminent speakers with us. Shri Saurabh Gupta ji, the founder and director of Earth5R and member of OECD Roundtable on Cities and Regions for the SDGs. We also have with us Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai ji, Padma Shri, Director, Center for Eminent Education, CEE, Ahmedabad. We also have with us Padma Shri Baba Balbir Singh Seechewal ji, who's popularly known as Eco Baba, the chairman of Nirmal Kuteya, Seechewal. And we also have with us Dr. Gufran, Beig, Scientist G, and Program Director of SAFAR. We all have gathered here, and we have also the presence of beloved founder of MIT World Peace University, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University, Dr. N.T. Rao sir, and Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace Universities, and many, many other. It is indeed my honor and privilege, with the permission of Chair, to begin with this particular session. I just wanted to confirm with my technical team if Mr. Kale was able to join. I don't see him in the, I don't really see him in the panel as of now. I think I can move ahead.
He's joining in a few seconds, sir. There was a technical issue.
Sure. Then I think meanwhile, we can go ahead with the introductory film. IT team, over to you.
Our world today is dealing with a crisis of monumental proportions. It has shown beyond doubt how the prevalence of poverty, weak health system, lack of education is exacerbating the crisis. We are struggling with climate change, poverty, and pandemic. Is it time to recalibrate sustainable development goals? Let us face the facts at International Conference on Eradication of Biological and Chemical Weapons.
Thank you very much for that video. And as I can see now, the moderator for this particular session, Shri Aniket Kale, is now live with us. If I may request Shri Aniket Kale to please address the gathering and open this session with his opening remarks. I think we'll have to wait for a few more seconds before I could see. I can still see Aniket Kale is connecting. Well, I'll move ahead because I can still see Aniket is facing some technical issues. Never mind. We have eminent panelists with us, and before I actually reach out to them, it is the moment where we all join our hands, digital hands, for this very, very memorable photograph. So I request everyone to put on their cameras, please. Yes, Tanvi, we could see you now. Thank you for switching on your camera. Thank you, thank you. I request everyone to put on a good smile on their faces so that my IT team can capture the perfect moment. Please go ahead and let us know. We all are getting used to this new normal where the cameramans are not moving around with their cameras in hands, but mouse is taking all the job of camera. So let's get used to this new normal.
It's done.
Are we done, Nileji?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone on the panel. Thank you very much. And now I can, with the permission, I can go ahead and request the student leader, because this has been a very, very important tradition of this conference, that every session is actually opened by a student leader, a youth of this nation who represents young India and lets us know what are the views of that side, what are the views of young India on this particular topic. So in this session, to share the views of young citizens of our country, we have with us Ms. Tanvi Murumkar from MIT World Peace University. Without wasting any further moment, Tanvi, I give the charge to you. Over to you, Tanvi.
Hello, everyone. Climate change, poverty, and pandemic. Is it time to recalibrate SDGs? Off the top of my head, the first things I can think about 2020 are Australian bushfires, Cyclone Nisarga, Puerto Rico earthquakes, and the very famous COVID-19. So far, 2020 is nothing but floods, fires, quakes, and pandemics. There's something very disturbing with this statement, right? Don't you think it's alarming? Yes, we all are talking about climate change and its effects. Of course, COVID-19 is the pandemic the world is facing today. However, climate change is one of the major factors of this epidemic that is sowing the seeds for further pandemics and worsening poverty. The developing and the poor nations face the worst of it all. Ultimately, a pandemic factored by climate change makes the poor poorer, and poverty is an important reason why an outbreak becomes a pandemic. Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, are guidelines directed to every country to progress towards a greener economy. Before COVID-19, all the countries had directed efforts towards reducing their carbon footprints. But just as the pandemic hit, everyone shifted their focus to healthcare and their respective economies. This brings us to the fundamental weaknesses in tackling the unexpected. Prevalence of poverty, lack of education, weak health systems, lack of global cooperation, dense population, and unpreparedness to face and survive such unforeseen situations. This causes chaos in overall governance and logistics across the globe. This crisis has reinforced the need for symbiosis, that is, a mutually beneficial, interdependent relationship among all countries, sans their socio-economic and political differences. The central determinants to tackle the above issues are foresight, money, and planning. The achievement of SDGs will thus help alleviate poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect our planet. The four SDGs, as recommended by the UNDP, are responsible production and consumption, that is, reduced brown financing and a shift to green and clean lifestyle. Climate action, that is, green fiscal stimulus packages promoting sustainable infrastructure, life on land, reallocation of wildlife displaced due to deforestation as it endangers mutual biosafety and security, life below water, reduce degradation of marine ecosystems that are essential for industry, food, medicine, and coastal protection. Along with all this, on the socio-economic front, it is highly essential that we ensure job security and build resilience for the informal and the unorganized sectors. We must plan to provide universal basic income, proper infrastructure, proper living conditions, and affordable and accessible healthcare and education. Thus, if we want to survive, live safely, and progress, this is high time we go back to old Sanskrit sayings, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Vishwashanti Dhruvam Dhruva. The world is one family, and let peace prevail across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you very much for those beautiful views. And you summed up very, very well. Thank you very much for that. Indeed, it was a pleasure listening to you. Thank you very much, Tanvi. All my compliments. My friends, let's move ahead. And we have the first eminent speaker with us, whom it is my privilege and honor to introduce to you, Shri Saurabh Gupta ji, the social entrepreneur and founder of Earth Fiber. Hailing from a corporate background and having served at various HR operations for several years, Saurabh Gupta ji identifies himself as a social entrepreneur. In the midst of his job, Saurabh ji took sabbatical to pursue a few youth-based social projects, and these opportunities introduced him to a lot of intriguing people and gave him a chance to travel to a lot of places around the globe. After working for several years in corporate world, Saurabh ji finally quit his job, where he found innovative and inspiring ways of catalyzing changes. Fortunately, Saurabh ji also had the opportunity to conduct a few talks in corporate sector on the topic organic life, which included not using automobile to on-work commute, eating like animals, eating for the need and not for the want and the greed, and tech detox against material excess culture. In the past, he was blessed with the appreciation and appraisal from His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his work related to youth community on Project Ganga Tunail. It is indeed our privilege and honor to have you here today, sir. Without wasting any further minute, I would like to hand over the charge to you. But before I request you to speak, let me share with everyone in the audience, because we have 315 people live listening to this seminar right now. I request everyone to please post your questions, because we have a good engaging questions and answers round at the end of every session. So I would like to request everyone in the audience to please post your questions in questions and answers box only. Please do not post your questions in chat box. I'll not be able to take up questions from chat box. So I request you to please post your questions only in Q&A section. You can find my name. I'm Gautam Bapat. You can find my name as host in the Q&A section. Please post your questions to me. So this is a gentle request to all the speakers also. We have to keep some time in reserve for the questions and answers. So every speaker is given 15 minutes to put his thoughts. So I request everyone to kindly give us some time for questions and answers. Thank you. Over to you, Gupta ji.
Thank you, Gautam, for your kind introduction and for introducing me to the forum. And thanks to all the panelists, and thanks for all the great work all of you are doing. In all people who present the panel, they're all like they have some lot of achievements in their lives and their background working for sustainability-based causes. So thank you for all the work that all of you are doing. And thanks everyone to the audience for having me here. Straight to the topic, because we have very little time. So I'll straight go to the agenda, and that is where we're talking about sustainable development goals and current scenario, which is COVID-19, as well as climate change already has been ongoing crisis for a very, very long time, since humans have seen a post-industrial age, or all the developments have happened. So basically, I would say that there are a few opinions I have about it. One of my opinion is that sustainable development goals were one of those overarching goals, and these are pretty much very, very, according to me, they are pretty much inclusive goals after a long time, because we used to have MDGs and Millennium Development Goals, and we had a lot of other climate change summits have happened. We had a lot of other such kind of goals and events in the past organized by different UN bodies. But for the first time, we have arrived to a goal, like set of 17 goals, which is very much inclusive, and literally everything is covered in that. Having these goals is really not a challenge. I feel that 17 SDGs are pretty much inclusive, and they cover most of the things. So the goals are really great. I felt that the real challenge is in implementation of these goals, which is the biggest gap. Like there's a huge gap between having the goals, because we have been really good at planning. United Nations and all other bodies, they have been really good at planning these goals. but unfortunately, there is a very big gap in execution of these plans, and that is where the challenges are lying. So in fact, the COVID situation has only exposed those gaps. It has only made situation, a bit worse. The gap between rich and poor has widened because the way businesses are functioning, and it has only exposed our, the amount of globalization we have, which is also one of the part of the problem, because as you have seen that everything is like, there's a huge dependence in certain countries for production, like China, and when US required hydroquinone, there was a huge dependency on India, which also caused a lot of political situation. And China is right now has become literally like factory of the world. So there is a lot of globalization has also caused lots of issues. And in SDGs, I feel that in SDGs, SDGs definitely covers circular economy and action on climate change and action poverty. But I feel that at the planning stage, we needed to have a bit more inclusive approach by involving citizens. So I wish there was a certain one set of SDGs which was particularly given, even though there is something like SDG number 17, which is more about partnership with goals. But I wish that we had particular SDG which was particularly given for citizen participation in change, because whether it's climate change, whether it's any kind of social, environmental, economic issues, uh, citizen participation is very, very important. Until unless citizens come out, they share, it's our civil responsibility, like whatever, it's our civil responsibility, and that part is missing. So that is one aspect where SDGs, if at all can be redefined, that should be redefined. A bit more participation from people. That should be, it should be a bit more inclusive in nature. And second thing is that I would say that uh, not much progress has happened in SDGs. Like, it has already been from 2015 to 2020, it's been 5 years, but the growth, basically the amount of work that has been done and is very minimal. I was talking to one of our students, because we do a lot of training programs, we run courses on environment, and SDGs at the core of our programs. And I was talking to a student who recently joined our program, and this person is head of a very big company, large global company. He's the director, responsible for production of plastic and manufacturing a lot of packaging thing. I was shocked to know that the person doesn't know about sustainable development goals, is not aware about SDGs. And if this is the situation of a person who's in industry working for 25 years, with 25 years of experience on such a responsible position in a global company, then imagine what is the situation about the knowledge of SDGs in other sectors, government sectors and private sectors, because SDGs, UN cannot just design SDGs and just announce it and publish it. That doesn't, you can't achieve SDGs like that. It has to cascade down to people. It has to like if a country has signed for SDGs, it has to cascade down. The government, the prime minister, president of the country is not going to achieve those SDGs alone. It has to cascade down to companies, to organizations, to municipalities, and it needs to go down to individual institutions. Like schools will have certain SDGs to share, in terms of education or waste management or whatever it is. All the institutions, all the businesses, anywhere where there's an office or a setup, they have certain SDGs like waste management or certain things they need to take care of that. Similarly, every business shares certain sets of SDGs. Every government office shares certain set of SDGs that they can achieve. So implementation is very important. But where does it all start? It starts with training them. It starts with them knowing there are SDGs and they also share those SDGs, achieving those SDGs. And that's a huge gap. So basically, I would say that the real calibration which is required in SDGs is in the field of making plans, and having an implementation plan is very, very important. And having a participation plan, like what government can do, what institutions can do, what NGOs can do, what citizens can do. People are not even talking about SDGs that are shared by citizens. They don't even know about it. So these are important conversations we need to have. In fact, I would say we need to actually shift the conversation from SDGs, to basically about
We lost your audio, sir. I think you went on mute accidentally. Gupta ji?
Okay. Is it
Yeah,
okay?
you're audible now. Yeah, please go ahead.
What was the last thing if you remember, I spoke about? How many minutes before I lost the audio?
No. You just went for just a second.
Okay. So yes, I was saying is that there is a need for shift in the conversation. That is very, very important. We rather than changing the SDGs, we need to look into that how SDGs can be implemented, how we can educate SDGs people about SDGs, how it can be, how it can trickle down to the bottom of the pyramid, and coming back to the poverty aspects, in COVID has actually really exposed, whereas environmental, a lot of environment has got a bit better because there is less pollution, the rivers are clean, and we have been doing work. Currently, we are doing a project in River in Mumbai, and I can see that there is a less plastic in the river. So there has been a major shift, which because of the COVID situation, environment has certainly benefited. People have certainly benefited because people became a bit more careful about their health, and I always say that sustainable development goals are not just for outside; it's inside also. We have our body is also an ecosystem. It is a living planet. It's a piece of planet. So there's an ecosystem within ourselves also. We first have to be sustainable ourselves, because that's one reason why I quit my corporate job and I went on cycling for 2 years. I was cycling 60,000 kilometers. I learned that health comes first. And I'm not claiming to save the environment, save the planet. We can't do that. We are too small for that. We have to save ourselves. We have to take care of the environment within our own body. We have to, after that, we have to go a bit outside in our surrounding. We have to make sure that we are managing the waste in our own families. We are living a bit more sustainable life, and fortunately things have changed a little bit recently. People are in the home and they are eating more healthy, because they know that the only thing which can help them in this COVID crisis, their own immunity. So people are doing exercise, they're living a bit better, and I would say they're achieving certain SDGs themselves, but they don't know, what are SDGs. So that's also very, very important. And post this, I would say that yes, plastic pollution has come down, but also there's a huge consumption of non-recyclable multi-layer packaging, like Lay's, Kurkure, chips. People are eating more junk food. We have conducted certain surveys, and we know that in cities like Mumbai, the consumption of non-recyclable plastic has doubled during this COVID time. And whereas the use of single plastic has reduced. So there are certain challenges, and also when life goes back to normal, there'll be again spike in entire situation. Yes, one more thing has happened, that the gap between rich and poor has also widened. There are a lot of vulnerable people in our society. They don't have access to job. People are losing jobs, and this is going to be a really big challenge. So I would say that COVID situation has literally exposed our fault lines, which is within our society, and we rather than recalibrating the SDGs, I would say we really need to work on the implementation part. We need to train. We need to work really work on training people about SDGs, and sharing with that what SDGs they share and how they can implement it better. That's my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gupta ji. Thank you very much for bringing on table very, very important points. And now I can see the technical hurdle seems to be away now, and the moderator of the session, Aniket Kaliji, is here with us. Well, we still don't see your microphone. No, you're not audible, Aniket ji. Aniket ji, you're not audible. IT team? I do not even see the microphone sign. We'll wait for a second because we really want him to address.
I think he has come online. Just check.
Yeah, I can see him actually, but his audio is well. I think I should proceed. We'll try and fix the network or the technical issue. Okay, so please allow me to move forward, and we have the next eminent speaker in this session with us, Padma Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai, the Director for Center for Environment Education, CEE, Ahmedabad. It is indeed my honor and privilege to introduce him to all of you. Shri. Oh. Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai, the Director for Center for Education, Environment Education, born on 27th of November 1947, is one of the world's leading environmental educators and dedicated community builder. He was awarded Padma Shri, India's fourth highest civilian award in year 2012. Kartikeya, born into a rich and reputed Sarabhai family of Ahmedabad, is the grandson of industrialist Ambalal Sarabhai. His father, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, is widely regarded as the father of India's space program. His work, he was educated at Cambridge, United Kingdom, where he acquired the tripos of natural sciences. He then went on to the postgraduate work in development of communication at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in the USA. He then took over as the chairman of Ambalal Sarabhai Enterprises Limited, a pharmaceutical company set up by his grandfather. But he has taken little interest in nurturing and corporate enterprises. Instead, he devoted his life into the environmental and community issues. He is currently the vice chairman of the Indian National Commission for the International Union Conservation of Nature, IUCN. Shri Sarabhai is the co-chair of the Global Citizenship Working Group of the Learning Metrics Task Force 2.0, convened by the Center for Universal Education at Brookings Institute of examine how global citizenship education is measured. And my friends, if I really have to share with you the awards Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai has received in his lifetime, I mean, the list is really, really big. If I have to take a few, of course, 2012 was the golden year when he was conferred the Padma Shri Award for his work in environmental education by the President of India. 2013, he was given the Olive Green Crusader Award by IAA, International Advertising Association. Science Orchid Society of India honored him with Shri C.V. Raman Memorial Award and many, many more. We are really, really honored to have you here today with us, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Gautamji. And it's a pleasure to be at MIT. It's not in person, but at least through this virtual media, and to share things with the fantastic college you got and the students you got. And I enjoyed 2 years ago, maybe, that I was there, and we were talking to your students. I have some slides, and I'll ask my colleague Meena to just put up the slides, please, Meena. So we heard Saurabh Gupta ji speaking on certain key issues of why participation and why SDGs are required. As far as the COVID crisis, he did mention how the way we interact with nature. And this was just one major crisis where we saw animals, wild animals, being treated so miserably, put one on another, and finally leading to the particular COVID crisis. But there have been other crises which have also come as a result of that. Next one, please. And we all know this every day in the morning when we open the paper, we read about the daily deaths. It's gone up to such high numbers, and it's still climbing. Globally, it is still climbing, is spreading in areas which is not there. Next one, please. But as Next one, please. And its impact has been huge. Its impact has been on the economy. The economy has suffered. Our growth rate, they say, is predicted as now less than 2%. From an attempt at 8%, 9% we were talking about just 2 years ago. It came down to 6%, now it's 2%. And in a country like India, to really come out of this development and reach the SDGs, we do need to keep up a certain growth rate. The next one, Meena, please. And in this, as was said by my previous speaker, it has not impacted everyone equally. The SARS-CoV does impact everyone, but the impact on the poor, especially the people who were migrants, has been so horrific. And I don't have time here to read the stories, but you all know the stories. One story is worse than another. There have also been heroic stories. There have been wonderful stories too. And then the informal sector. India really thrives on the informal sector. Our cities have such a large informal sector. And when we look at other countries where there is either a job or not, here we have informal sectors in a number of ways. And these people have suffered even more. So there's been the migrants and the informal sector, which has really had this huge suffering. We have areas of housing like Dharavi. In fact, my own PhD studies was in Dharavi, and I know this area well, where it's impossible to have social distancing. I mean, even a toilet is shared by so many people. You live very close together. But I must say, Dharavi has shown actually a good example of how good management actually leads to a major catastrophe being actually avoided. But the point is that about 40 to 50% of our people do live in this. We have already heard about the positive impact on the environment, on the other hand. Just the sheer decrease in human activity has estimated that carbon emissions have been estimated 5%. There is a cut. Water quality has improved in the Ganga, in several other rivers, and ultimately in the ocean. Next one, please. Next, Meena. Yeah. Air quality from many North Indian cities. Jalandhar, people have gone up on the roof to witness that they can see the Himalayan range. Some of them, since their childhood, have never seen it. They never even knew that from their rooftop they could see snowy mountains. But that is possible because of this air quality improvement. And all this is positive. The major campaign on plastic, my previous speaker also mentioned this, the plastic campaign was itself difficult. We were saying use less single-use plastic, but with PPEs and others, it's impossible. You have to use plastic so that the responsibility on the citizen of disposal properly becomes even more now. It is not less, it is more. There's a pandemic, you have to now dispose properly, and then the municipality and others collect it and send it to biomedical waste facilities. So our responsibility as a citizen group, as a species on this planet, increases. Next one. Next, Meena. Yeah. Now the big question is, from those empty roads which we had for 2 months, are we going to go straight back to this? That's the big question. Do we learn, or do we only learn for a few minutes? Someone was using the word the other day of Samshan Vairagya. It's a Vairagya which only comes when you go to the crematorium, but when you come out, you forget everything. Is the human race going to learn anything from this 2 months? Now, the whole concept of sustainability is built on 3 important pillars. There is the social, there is the environmental, and economic. Now, what it shows is that you cannot sustain one without another. So you cannot have a situation where you want to save the environment but everyone loses jobs. That's not possible. So you had to open up the economy. The social impact on health and other things was huge. It's not as if we've solved it, but we have had to open the economy because otherwise people don't have food to eat. So how do we manage these 3? The whole concept of the circular economy was just mentioned earlier. It is critical. How do we live more sustainably on this planet, keeping all these 3 objectives in mind? Next one. So we come to the Sustainable Development Goals. As you know, there are 17 goals and 169 targets. Next, 169 targets. These were developed in 2015 before the pandemic. And the topic for the day is to really ask ourselves whether we need to revisit them and what do we need to do. Now, this is a little chart which shows how COVID-19 pandemic is impacting a variety of different SDGs. And we'll just go through a few of them just as to show you as an example of how that happens. Now look at poverty. Now I've just taken a few targets here. It was saying implement nationally appropriate social and measures for all. By 2030, achieve substantial coverage of the poor and the vulnerable. What has happened is that the poor and the vulnerable have increased manyfold because of this crisis. And it says that about as much as 500 million people, or 8% of the total human population, has been affected through poverty. Now, will we have to recalibrate, or will we put an additional effort and still meet the target? That should be the challenge. Rather than recalibrate the goal, we should say what more can we do to achieve that goal. But the business as usual is not okay. Next one. Look at urbanization. Now, it said that by 2030, enhance inclusive and sustainable urbanization and capacity for participatory, integrated, sustainable human settlements. My previous speaker very clearly spoke about participation. Today, what is happening is that I was in another seminar 2 days ago where the developers were saying that we are now building nice farmhouses for the rich, which are fully protected and have all the video facilities. So what will happen is that people who can afford it move out and the poor will remain. The difference between the rich and poor might in fact increase. Next one, Meena. Quality education. 1.25 billion students are today affected. And we know we cannot start it. What we are doing is fantastic. But in many rural areas, it's not possible to run a school like this. Next one. We have a major rural project. And what we have done is that in 10 villages, we taught them the skills of how to participate in a Zoom webinar. And we have found this fantastic participation. Now we can get IIM professors to talk to people in the villages. So it is possible to also use this as an advantage. Next one. Climate action, climate change. In a short run, yes, it is improved. But the main question is, are we going to change or are we not? Are we going to change? If so, in what way? Next one. As you know, next one, please. As you know, one of those changes is, for instance, in energy. Our Prime Minister has taken a major initiative in having a global alliance for solar energy. That global alliance is to look at how we can change the way we produce energy. It's still coal-based, but can we really change it dramatically? Now, in Paris in 2015, when India went there, and this is an important slide to, just hold it for a minute, that he said, I will call for a change in lifestyles so that we reduce the burden on our planet. The enduring success of our efforts will depend on the way we live and think. Now, India has been talking about this point for many years. In 1992, in the World Rio Summit, America refused to let the word lifestyles come in. They said our lifestyles is not negotiable. And what is done is that as a result of India's efforts, in 2015, we got it into the preamble that lifestyles have to change. Now, many Indian lifestyles are already sustainable. Many rural lifestyles are sustainable. We used to do sustainable things. But what is happening is that our notion of development is sometimes so westernized that we forget all these things. We forget why we did certain things. Why did we carry a shopping bag? Why did we not throw away? Why do we not waste? We generally, if you see most Indians, when they finish food, you will find very little on their plates. It just comes naturally. We don't throw away. A glass bottle is never thrown away. You will wash it and put something else in it, or you will sell it to a kabaddi wala who will in turn sell it. It is in our DNA, much of sustainability, but we are forgetting it, and it's important that we change it. Next one. Now I think next one, please. Mr. Gupta rightfully said that unless it trickles down to action and to people, this will not happen. It cannot happen through government alone. Many years ago, in 2005, in a school in Hyderabad, little girls, 10-year-olds, they came up with a concept of a handprint. A handprint represented what we can do. Footprint is how much we tread on the world. A handprint is positive action. And so we started a program called SDG, Handprint Lab. It's a college program. I would hope, Gautamji, we can do it at MIT. It's a university. It's a program for students. Just now we just finished one at Nirmal and at Charusat University. It takes students to apply their education for SDGs in a given area. And it's a fantastic learning experience. There's not enough time to discuss it, but it is something which meets with that criteria. How do you get people involved in a hands-on way into this? So finally, we say for everyone that just let us all increase our handprint. Let us do positive things and decrease your footprints. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that beautiful presentation. Thank you very much for those thoughts. It was indeed a pleasure to listen to you. Thank you very much for that. Now it is indeed my honor and privilege to take entire audience to our next eminent speaker on this panel, Sant Baba Balbir Singh Seechewal ji, Padma Shri and Chairman of Nirmal Kuteya Seechewal. My friends, it is indeed my honor and privilege to introduce him to all of you. Balbir Singh Seechewal ji, born on 2nd of February 1962, is a Nirmala Sikh who spearheaded into anti-river pollution campaign in Punjab, India, by combating his self-philosophy with the environmental essence of Gurbani. He has reasserted the 110-mile-long Caliban and has received highest Indian Civilian Award, Padma Shri, in year 2017. He is also known as Eco Baba. You'll not believe, my friends, and it is indeed my honor to share with you that he single-handedly cleaned and restored Kalibend River, which is 160 kilometer long, and it was definitely a remarkable work. He says that when he started the water cleaning project in 2007, it seemed a big challenging and impossible task. But yes, a person like him could complete it. Balbir Singh Seechewal ji received the Padma Shri Award from the President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee ji, on 30th of March 2017 as the hero of environment by the Time magazine. It is indeed our honor and privilege to have him here with us. Without wasting any single minute, I hand over charge to him. Over to you, sir.
बहुत धन्यवाद है MIT पुणे का जिन्होंने आप सारे दे नाल मिलण दा जिहड़ा है मौका बख्शा। तो आज जो विषय है जिसका वो है पर्यावरण, गरीबी, महामारी, ये सारे विषय जिहड़े हैगे अज दे बड़े गंभीर विषय है जिन्हां दे नाल अज असीं सारे प्रभावित हाँ। तो जिस तरह साडे गुरु पातशाह ने सानू उपदेश दिता, परमेश्वर ते भुलिया व्यापन सबे रोग, बेमुख होए राम ते लगन जन्म विजोग। कि जदों असीं मालक नूं भुलदे आ, परमेश्वर नूं भुलदे आ, कुदरत नालों टुटदे आ ते उस स्वार्थी हो जाने आ, लालची हो जाने आ ते फिर इहो ਜਿਹੇ हालात बनदे आ। अज असीं एक ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਆ, ਇਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਸ ਹੱਦ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਰਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਚਿੰਤਤ ਹੈ। ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੁਪਰੀਮ ਪਾਵਰਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੀ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੇ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ, ਅੱਜ ਉਹ ਲਾਚਾਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ। ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਾਧਨ, ਫਨਾਹ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, ਬਰਬਾਦ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਾਧਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਪੈਦਾ ਕਰ ਲਏ, ਪਰ ਬਚਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਹੱਥ ਖੜੇ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਦਵਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਸ ਰੋਗ ਦੀ, ਇਸ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਦੀ। ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਆ ਉਹ ਹਜੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਪਾਵਰਫੁਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਇਹ ਸਮਝ ਰਿਹਾ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਪਛਾਣ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਨਿਰਧਾਰਿਤ ਕੀਤਾ। ਪਵਨ ਗੁਰੂ, ਪਾਣੀ ਪਿਤਾ, ਮਾਤਾ ਧਰਤ ਮਹਤ, ਦਿਵਸ ਰਾਤ ਦੋਇ ਦਾਈ ਦਾਇਆ ਖੇਲੇ ਸਗਲ ਜਗਤ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਬਾਦਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਹਵਾ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ, ਪਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਤਾ ਔਰ ਧਰਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਦਬ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਸਨਮਾਨ ਦਈਏ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸੁਖੀ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਵਾ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਪਾਣੀ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਧਰਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੈਮੀਕਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਿੰਜੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਵਿਚਾਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਾਣੀਆਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਸੀ ਸ਼ੇਖ ਚਿੱਲੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਦਰਖਤ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹ ਬੈਠਾ ਟਾਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਟਾਹਣੀ ਕੱਟ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਸ ਦਰਖਤ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਦਰਖਤ ਨੂੰ ਕੱਟੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਵਾ, ਪਾਣੀ, ਧਰਤੀ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ। ਜੇ ਤਿੰਨ ਬਚ ਗਏ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਬਚਿਆ ਗਿਆ, ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤਿੰਨ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਕਰ ਲਏ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਚਿਆ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੈਸਾ ਤਾਂ ਇਕੱਠਾ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ এনवायरमेंट ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਕਾਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੈ? ਜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ এনवायरमेंट ਹੋਊਗਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪੈਸਾ ਕਮਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ এনवायरमेंट ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ, ਹਵਾ ਸੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਾਣੀ ਸੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸਾਡੀ ਖੁਰਾਕ ਸੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ? ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾਇਆ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲੱਗ ਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਲਈਏ ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਰਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਛਾਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ। ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਹਾਲਾਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਲਕ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ, ਅੱਜ 200 400 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੋਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੀਣ ਲਾਇਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਸ ਸਬਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਹ ਲੈ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਮੀਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਰੁਪਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਸਕਦੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਰੁਪਈਏ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਰੁਪਈਏ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਲਿਆ, ਸਾਡੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ, ਵਿਕਾਸ ਰੁਪਈਏ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਰੁਪਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗਿਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ এনवायरमेंट ਦੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝਿਆ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਗਵਾ ਲਈਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਸੀ। ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜੀਵਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਚੇਤਨਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ। ਜੇ এনवायरमेंट ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ। ਜੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਖੁਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ। ਤੇ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੇ ਛੱਡ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਕਾਰਨ ਬਣੂਗਾ। ਤੋ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਦਰਦ ਨੂੰ ਪਛਾਣੀਏ। ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡਿਊਟੀਆਂ ਬਣਦੀਆਂ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਆ, ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਸਤਾ ਦੱਸਣਾ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਆ, ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਕੋਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਾਂ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਚੇ। ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਸੋਚ ਇਹ ਬਣੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀ GDP ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਵਧੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾਈਏ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਾ এনवायरमेंट ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ এনवायरमेंट ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਪਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਪੈਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਮੁਲਕ ਖੇਤੀ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੁਲਕ ਆ ਤੇ ਖੇਤੀ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੁਲਕ ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਮੁੱਕ ਰਿਹਾ, ਪਾਣੀ ਸੁੱਕ ਰਿਹਾ, ਦਰਿਆ ਪ੍ਰਦੂਸ਼ਿਤ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ। ਉਹਦਾ ਕਾਰਨ ਕੀ ਆ? ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਮਨੁੱਖਾ ਵੇਸਟ ਤੇ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀਅਲ ਵੇਸਟ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਨਦੀਆਂ ਦਰਿਆਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ 2000 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ 100% ਟ੍ਰੀਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਖੇਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਜੇ ਸੀਚੇਵਾਲ ਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਖੇਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖੇਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗ ਸਕਦਾ? ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਪਲਾਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਏ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਧਰਤੀ ਹੇਠਲਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਇਹਦਾ ਕੌਣ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਆ? ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, ਸਿਸਟਮ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵਰਗਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਗਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਪੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ, ਬਿਨਾਂ ਜੇ ਫਿਲਟਰ ਤੋਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਪੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਿਲਟਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਵਾਇਆ ਵਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਕੈਲਕੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰੀਏ, ਕੋਈ ਅਰਥ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰੇ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਵਾ ਲਿਆ ਉਹ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਚੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤਾਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਕੀ ਹੈ? ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਖੁਦਕਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆ ਕਰਜ਼ੇ ਮਿਲੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੜਫ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਖੁਦਕਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਟ੍ਰੀਟ ਕਰਕੇ 20 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੇਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਪਾਣੀ ਰੀਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ? ਕਿ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਪਲਾਂਟ। ਅਸੀਂ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਪਲਾਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗ ਸਕੇ। ਕਦੋਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪਲ ਕਮੇਟੀਆਂ ਬਣੀਆਂ, ਕਦੋਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਬਣਿਆ, ਕਿਹੜੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ? मनुखा ਨੂੰ
सिचेवाल जी, I'm really sorry, मैं माफी चाहूंगा इंटरप्ट करने के लिए, लेकिन हमें थोड़ा सा समय क्वेश्चंस और सवाल जवाब के लिए भी थोड़ा रखना है, तो इफ आई मे रिक्वेस्ट, या प्लीज गो अहेड जी, कहिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर व्यूज। लेकिन जाइएगा नहीं, हमारे साथ रहिएगा, हमें सवाल जवाब का सिलसिला भी यहाँ से आगे चलाना है। Thank you very much for that. And our session moderator, Aniket Kaleji, finally, I think, is now over the technological issues now. Yes, please, go ahead. Over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think, all panelists and dignitaries must accept my apologies for joining you late because of technical delay. But I think this panel is one of the wonderful panel, and I think we need to follow the same structure day to day, because speakers then we have Dr. Saurabh, who is immense scientist and the elementary food and the word wisdom from Seechewal. Very said we have weapon of mass destruction. We have survival. This thought of this session, I think we have to really make weapon of mass survival. We have to reduce print in and we have to come back from corporate to serve our earth. I think we have to take philosophy from this panel, and I think this could be a great idea if we can have some sustainable development goal, and we have to fix the responsibilities of the citizen of this world. Only sustainable development goal will not achieve us a good earth to stay, but we have to fix responsibility of each and every citizen. Now in the pandemic, corona pandemic, everyone is saying that you have to get immune, you have to do yoga on yourself. No vitamin, no medicine will come to save you, but you have to do yoga on your own. So we have to set certain responsibilities that could be a universal responsibility as a global citizen to save this world. And I think one of the important aspects that come from Dr. Sarabhai's presentation was we have to go more and more educational institution and involve youth to the movement that he's talking about, which can really help us to achieve or recalibrate these SDGs in coming future. And words of wisdom and man who can prove himself by action by cleaning Kalibian River 160 kilometer by his own. So we have such idols with us, and MIT always pioneering for initiatives like this. And I think we can take opportunity to get involved with all these kind of activities. Now, I think question and answer, we can take some question and answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anikeji. Thank you very much for your views. And now it is indeed, before we actually go to the questions and answers, we have a very, very special personality among us, the next eminent speaker of this session. And it is indeed my honor and privilege to introduce you to Dr. Gufran Beig, Scientist G and Program Director of SAFAR, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, IITM. Dr. Gufran Beig is an Indian meteorologist and a scientist at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. He is the Program Director of the System of Air Quality Forecasting and Research, SAFAR, a network of air quality and weather monitoring stations which assists in the forecast of the air quality and maintaining an emission inventory. An elected fellow of the Indian Academy of Sciences, he received the NGM International Award of the World Meteorological Organization in year 2005. And listen to me very carefully, my friends. He is the first Indian to receive this honor. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, the apex agency of the Government of India for scientific research, awarded Dr. Beig with Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology, one of the highest Indian science awards for his contribution to Earth, atmosphere, ocean, and planetary sciences in year 2006. It is indeed our honor and privilege to have Dr. Gufran Beig among us. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for joining in and you're going to share your thoughts with us. Without wasting a single minute, I hand over the charge to you. Over to you, sir. Sir, if you could please unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you see
Yes,
my
you're audible, sir.
Whether my screen is visible?
Screen is also visible, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for inviting me for such an important topic. And I would like to share my thoughts on this. You can see my slide where I had put it that climate change, poverty, and pandemic, all three is pictorially represented that climate change is giving us, kind of extreme events, sometimes excess rain, sometimes drought. Then you can see poverty, and then anyway the corona pandemic where we all are fighting and all are suffering for that kind of thing. So is it time to recalibrate SDGs? And certainly there are, it is the perspective that what way you should you look at the sustainable development goals. But then certainly this pandemic has provided us a huge scope of revisiting or reorienting ourselves for this. So with this kind of introduction, I once again thanks all of you, and then I start. First thing, what comes in my mind is that energy is the happiness of the vibes. So we can continue doing things, whatever we do it. And then I will start with the fruits of their own time. One is our father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who believed that becomes your thoughts becomes your words, and your value becomes your destiny. And another great in the scientific fraternity is Albert Einstein, where he also talks about energy, but from a positive, from the scientific point of view. And in this perspective, I really remember the Honorable Shri Vishwanath Karatji's vision for this conference, which I could see from the website. There is a pressing need to create a global voice of any nation all nations that works towards humanity, safety, and focused on achieving sustainable development goals. And that is what is the need of the hours. With this introduction and with this positivity in mind, I will start with the scientific content. The first one, that prosperity of human life, whether it is challenged, and that is what I would like to answer here, that whether it is being challenged, then what we need is health, energy, food, water, population, species extinctions. And yes, so here the point is that what are our basic necessities of the life? First one is the food, how much we take, about 1 to 2 kg per day. Then water, we know about 2 to 3 liters per day. But then do you know that how much air we take every day in 24 hours? It is about 14,000 liters per day. And then due to climate change, due to air pollution, if this air is contaminated, you can imagine that how much along with this oxygen, we are taking the poisons with us, which is a polluted air. And going into the philosophical aspect of that, that in our ancestors' time, when the fire, air, and foul air were discovered, first by Leonardo da Vinci in 1452 and 19 in Italy, where he has also discovered the carbon dioxide is discovered around 1750 by Joseph Black, and nitrogen is identified several years later by Daniel Rutherford in 1749. They may not have thought that time that this carbon dioxide, which they discovered one day, which is basically a life-saving, lot of things in a good carbon dioxide. Had it not been there, greenhouse gases, our temperature of the planet would have been minus 34 degrees Celsius. But excess greenhouse gases, excess amount of this, because of the mankind, is the real problem which is doing. So this is another philosophical view of that oxygen. Then here I should not forget to put it, that father of ozone research in India, that was Professor Ramanathan in 1925, he discovered and started this, which is one of the success story, that how the unity at global level can put all the people together and we can win the battle. Ozone hole is healing. And here I am very proud to mention that in the picture which is here in the left-hand side, which is Professor Vikrama Sarabhai with Professor Ramanathan, and whose son is really, we have a privilege to be with this panel today. So I thought that this is a very timely, and then we should recognize the contribution of our father of space, Professor Sarabhai, and father of ozone research in India, Professor K.R. Ramanathan. Then came the point that climate change, and these are the heroes which started long back and started telling us that yes, it is coming, and that is where the world is now doing. So now time has passed through, greenhouse gases led by CO2 become the more and more lethal, and the problem is here that local sources, energy, industry, agriculture sources, give rise to emission, give rise to global warming, give rise to climate change, give rise to poor air quality, and then poor health. So key to the solution is address the short-lived climate change and what we call is a air pollution. What is happening all because unusual monsoon progression, extreme events you see in Mumbai, you see the cloud burst and other things also. Then pollution, you feel that you are obese only because you eat a lot of food, no, but also because what you breathe. And then climate change, a hot topic it became, and among most serious environmental problem of the present time, often called global warming or greenhouse effect. Now, global atmospheric problem, there are two major things. One is the depletion of strategic ozone, global, which we have very successfully with the unity has taken, and it is healing now. Serious challenge is now to look in for the sustainable development is to look on the climate change. Now coming to the short-lived climate species, what is my major topic under the project which we call is a SAFAR, India's first air quality forecasting system of air quality and weather forecasting and research. You can see that these are the pollutants which are also coming from the same, from where the global climate change happening with the sources of pollutants, and these are the one which is the most widespread health threat of the worldwide. And they constitute just 1% of the total air, 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen. Remaining 1% is all greenhouse gases, all these pollutants. And that is where the problem which is being created. So now, with this all background, let us come to the story of a Sarvvyapi Mahamari, what we call is a COVID-19. I'm not going to read this because of the paucity of the time, but what is the problem is that emergency phenomena and all we know. So it is just to see that what it is, and I don't want to go into too much in detail of that. But can pandemics, cleaner air could reshape what we know about the atmosphere and sustainable goal, and whether we can adopt the kind of a changes or we should take a mitigative action? This is the question one has to put while talking about sustainable development goal. Lockdown made an atmosphere in which industrial suit, all these are not seen for decades. From US to Milan to Mumbai to Delhi to Pune, all scientists understanding the atmosphere, chemistry, air pollution, public health for decades to come. Keep on doing that, the kind of a data which we have. I will show you some glimpse of those data. The fine-tune air quality and climate change law, regulation, hope maintaining at least some of the gains seen for the global shutdown. As the shutdown clears cars of the road and brought factories to halt, coal plants and cooking stove kept emitting in our country. And that is where we know that what should be the, whether we are really blaming to them extra or it is a blame game for air quality for that is a realistic. It will be known now. So that allows us to develop a more precise profile of pollution source by source, city by city, region by region. And here you will see that it used to be this. Now here important thing you will see that, what way all the countries were having a pollution in India was the highest in the normal time, but lockdown, India has become lowest. So the God or nature has given us the baseline level much less. So our effort, if we put it even much less effort than what Western countries doing, we will have a more positive goals. And this is just some kind of a thing that how before lockdown Pune was looking like and after it is looking like Delhi was looking like this. The more the red color is, the more the bad air, and this is green. Now coming to this climate change, see, it was happening from 19,000 centuries. CO2, which is the male culprit, keep on increasing like this. But you see, this is the plot recent with the source I have taken from Global Carbon Project, where carbon from the January onwards, the carbon load, from the different sectors has declined. And the results are here that electrical demand in our own country, this is India's electrical total demand from, this is what you see that it has declined like this. And solar panels and all those are the things which is anyway our government is doing. So we have been very proud to have that kind of a thing that it is happening. So our goals are reaching. So CO2 emission fell by 15% in March, 30% in April. May estimate has to come now, but much of this decline attributed to lockdown and weakened demand for coal and oil. And this is the credit to this particular this thing. So now the story of emission is that these are the sources of emission. These are those things, and then see the normal emission and this lockdown. The scientific positivity under this COVID-19, looking at the air quality is this. Air pollution can see as a stressor and compromise one's positive effect by a cognitive appraisal for negative feeling. This conclusion provides a theoretical basis for connect air pollution to individual positive effect and well-being. So if air pollution has declined, our positivity has to go up. Then the air pollution is related to oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain, which in turn is associated with negative effect of related behavior. So again, this negative effect, because of the lockdown, has gone down. And you will see that Delhi was looking this, NOx was red last year at the same time was like this, but now it has gone like this. Phenomenal change. It has gone. Similarly, this you'll see Pune, which used to be like this, lockdown, no vehicles, it is like this. Then see the Ahmedabad, the riverfront, see the water, see the other quality. And then here we are seeing that the air pollution, red color is the decline. Mumbai, which used to be the full of crowd, now full of birds. And that is what it is. Now, this is one of the scientific results which I would like to say that there is a kind of a level which God has provided us, nature has provided us, and what we call is a baseline level. It is not a prevailing level. When you put all your resources of anthropogenic emission to close to zero, whatever nature has given us, like oxygen is 21%. you can't make this oxygen 21% to 15% or 5%. Similarly, there is a kind of an amount which is there that is called baseline level. So the mortality in a different cities of India is highly related with the baseline level of particulate matter PM2.5. And as we see, as we are gone into the summer, the temperature is also hotter the temperature, less the casualty. Similarly, that is the reason that Mumbai, when the baseline level is quite high, the casualties are highest, but the Chennai, where baseline level is less, casualties are less. Similarly, Delhi versus Mumbai, when you saw that time, also it is like Delhi also baseline, although the pollution is very high as compared to Mumbai and Delhi, but the baseline level is low, so the mortality to start with, it was very low. Although there are many factors, but these are some of the factors. So positivity of this life is like this, which is given here. But then you'll see that UV radiation has increased, and UV radiation kills the coronavirus. And that is one of those. But then again, one has to be cautious that UV radiation, when directly you come in contact, is very dangerous to our skin. But then these are the kind of a thing which nature has provided us, that atmosphere is free from aerosols. UV radiation is increased, temperature is increased, and fighting with us with corona, and that is where it is. So the ozone also, all the pollutants have declined, but ozone, which used to be the deadly pollutant near the surface, started increasing. How it has started increasing, that is a science and chemistry, complicated chemistry. I'm not going to that, but the point is that it has been increasing, and that increasing ozone is one of the strongest oxidant which kills the coronavirus in 1 or 2 minutes. But again, word of caution, that ozone destroys the viral RNA of the corona. Ozone also damages the outlet shell of the virus by oxidation, but if directly put in our contact, very dangerous to us. So this is where the silver linings are. And you see that this is what our ambient levels in April and May in Pune, which has been. So now the question here is that we got a minimum level which nature has given us in a different cities. Whether whatever the regulations we have made it, the standards, whether we are overplaying it, whether we have done it such a goal which can never be achieved. What is our carrying capacity? Carrying capacity is quite high, and that is why there is a scope, there is a need for revisiting our national ambient air quality standards, because whatever nature has given us, our immune system has been made to take care of that. We cannot, we should not compare ourselves with what WHO said and what America is following, what London is following, and why any other country is following. Our own immunity, our own system, our own strength is the key, our own carrying capacity. So this was one of the success stories. Climate change research, ozone researchers have delivered. Climate change researchers need to deliver now. And this brings me to last 3 slides, which says that asthma positivity, because of asthma all over the world, millions of people suffer and die, and that is mainly attributed by all the researchers with the air pollution. Now, when air pollution has declined, there are research that the outdoor and indoor visits and death due to lung asthma and heart disease has dropped by 25%. Well, this is the research which has been done by the National Bureau of Economics in USA. As compared to 1 lakh people who died in USA, 25% is very less, certainly decline, but certainly you cannot say that this is the saving of lives that would be achieved if there were less costly way to improve air pollution and climate change. So final lines in confidence in next 3 slides. Although COVID-19 is a deadly virus killing mass human being, but again, the positive part of it is that it is giving us a way of thinking to be hygienic physically and mentally. No virus can damage any of us till we are united and strong and abide the country rules and regulations. Self-mitigation, sensitization, awareness among the masses is the key. Hence, important that a student in school, college from young age are taught about it. While people are now being informed about the need of preserving the environment, as air is pristine during the lockdown, the true result would only be seen once that has been adopted by you as a part of your life, like habit. And that is what we need to sustain. The COVID-19 and take-home message is our goal should not just to celebrate the silver lining, but to seize upon that lining and institutionalize it. Keep united and positive. Thank you very much. And I close here my talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation, and thank you very much for joining in. It was really indeed pleasure to listening to you and very, very informative slides. Thank you very much, sir. And now it is time that we move on to our next point on agenda, which is questions and answers. Well, I'm really sorry. I have very less time left in my hand, but still, I would like to take one important question. And I think all the panelists, Sarabhai sir, are you still there with us? Because we cannot see you.
No, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, great. Beig sir?
Yes.
Even we lost your visuals.
Oh, is that fine now?
No, we can't. Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, so the question is coming from Neeraj Namdev, and he asks, when economic stakes are so high and corporates somehow still manage to secure their economic interests over environment, in such situation, how can we assure that climate change, poverty, and health issues would be given importance over others?
Is it a question to me?
It's actually a question to all. So you can go ahead first. Short answers so that I can take one more question. Small answers, please.
Whatever has been said, it is really a very delicate question. And that is where there should be a fine tuning and fine balance between the economic development as well as vice versa, the controlling air quality, climate change has to be made. And we should not forget that in a long run, the impact which is going to come from a climate change and air quality related is going to impact our economy very deeply. So it is a irreversible process. And that is where I think I will stop. And then
thank you. Sarabhai sir, your views?
The whole sense of corporate responsibility is increasing. CSR was one step the government took earlier. But if you take the whole concept of circular economy, it is to say that you align the business interests and the environment and social interests together. Now, what is happening is that the extent.
I think we lost him.
Manufacturer's responsibility is putting some teeth into it. In fact, this morning paper represents. Can you get me now?
Actually, yeah, there was some disturbance in between, but yeah, you're audible now.
Yeah, this is about how it has come up.
I think you have some kind of network bandwidth issue.
Sorry. Are you getting it now, or maybe I turn the visual off for a minute?
Can you hear me better now? Turn the visual off so that we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Hear me better. I was saying the imaginative thing is to align the corporate interest and the interest of social and environmental factors. And that is happening through the extended corporate responsibility, for the extended manufacturer's responsibility. It is happening through CSR. It is happening through education and enlightenment. It is happening through peer pressure. Most importantly, through consumers. You saw this morning that as a result of the whole Black Lives Matters movement, you saw Fair and Lovely changing their brand name. Okay, so we've been talking about them for years, but it was ultimately the pressure of people and the community which got them to change it. So I think the community, if they demand from corporates that we will only buy from you if you are responsible, this will work.
राइट सर। सचिवाल जी, आपको मैं यही सवाल पूछना चाहूंगा कि समय इतना भयानक चल रहा है, इकोनॉमी की जो हालात इतने खराब है, फिर भी कंपनियां अपना पैसा बनाने में सफल हो ही जाती हैं। तो एक्चुअली ये कंपनीज और हमें जो एक्चुअली अभी जो काम द इंडिया इज सपोज टू डू, क्या आपको लगता है कि इस कठिन समय के बाद भी कंपनियों का जो एजेंडा है पैसा बनाने का, वो चलता रहेगा, या फिर हम पॉवर्टी, गरीबी और जो हमारे हेल्थ इश्यूज है उन पर फोकस कर पाएंगे? आपकी राय क्या है?
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੀਆਂ, ਨਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋਚਾਂਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚਿਰ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਰਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਛਾਣਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਆ ਨਾ, ਹਰ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਮਾਜ ਸਬਕ ਸਿੱਖੂਗਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਇੰਨੀ ਭੁੱਖ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਖਰਬਾਂਪਤੀ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਸੜਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੋ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਰੀਬਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੇਖੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਬਿਆਨ ਕਰਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਦੇਖਣੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੱਕ ਦਰਦਮੰਦ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਪਛੀਜਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਹਿਰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਮਾਜ ਉੱਠੇ ਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ, ਸਮਾਜ ਉੱਠੇ ਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ। ਜਿਸ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਮਲਕ ਭਾਗੋ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਭਾਈ ਲਾਲੋ, ਇੱਕ ਬੰਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਰੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੂਨ ਚੋ ਕੇ ਉਸ ਰੋਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਰਤ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਆ ਉਹਦਾ, ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਲਕ ਭਾਗੋ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਥਾਂ ਥਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਮਲਕ ਭਾਗੋ ਬਣੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ। ਹਰ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਵਾਬਦੇਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਬਣੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਸੋਚ ਨਹੀਂ। ਇਹੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਬਣੇ ਆ। ਪਰ ਇਹ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਸਾਡਾ ਮੁਸਾਜ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਪੈਸੇ ਦਾ ਲਾਲਚ ਆ, ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਇਕੱਠਾ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਸੋ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਬਾਣੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਸੰਤੋਖ ਨਾਹੀਂ ਕੋ ਰਾਜੇ, ਸੁਪਨ ਮਨੋਰਥ ਬਿਰਥੇ ਸਭ ਕਾਜੇ। ਜੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸੰਤੋਖ ਦੇਵੇ, ਸਮਝੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ। ਜਿੱਦਣ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਸਰੀਰ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ, ਜਿੱਦਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ, ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਣਾ, ਨਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਜਾਣਾ, ਨਾ ਚੈੱਕ ਜਾਣੇ, ਨਾ ਕੈਸ਼ ਮਨੀ ਜਾਣੀ। ਤੇ ਕਾਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਭੁੱਲੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਤੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਭੁੱਲ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਮੱਤ ਬਖਸ਼ੇ ਇਸ ਸ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਟੀ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਸਮਾਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੇਤਨਾ ਪੈਦਾ ਆਵੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਾਜ ਲਈ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ।
जी, thank you very much, Balbir Singh. Thank you very much for your views. अगला सवाल, the next question is coming from Deepmala Roka, and again this question is coming for both Sarabhai ji and Beig sir. The question is, since post-lockdown government would try to recover the economy faster, do you think that this will lead to over-exploitation? Over to you, Beig sir.
Over-exploitation, well, there are two things. One I will talk that one, there is a theory that once we have a lockdown and decline is substantial and emissions have gone continuously for more than 2 or 3 months gone. So to rebuilding it is going to take time. So we are not going to go to a bad time in terms of climate change and air quality so quickly, and then rain has come for our rescue, so that will help us to do that kind of a thing. So we have a buffer time. But then there
But
is
you don't really think that in the race of rebuilding economy, we might go to the extent of overexploitation? You don't think that?
well, so I was coming to the second point then only. Because now, obviously, because of the shutting down of the factories and more, there is another point of view that factories and the people would like to cover up the loss by increasing their productivity and their what kind of thing, lead to more cheaper and faster increase in emissions. And we need to look into the time to come what way thinking. Yeah, I'm done.
Right, sir. Sarabhai ji?
Yeah. It goes both ways. You are seeing, I think it to turn off some people's mics. It goes both ways in the fact that you are seeing some protected areas and resources in it are being opened up. And I think this is something which we have to be very careful of. On the other hand, you're also seeing industries taking very positive steps. For instance, some of the large companies have said that work from home seems to be a viable option. And therefore, if many companies understand that a larger amount of people work from home, then that traffic picture, which I showed and Mr. Beig showed, might not happen. And that is one of those important contributors to at least urban air pollution is transportation. So I think we should really treat this moment as an introspection moment and a moment when to what extent there will be some industries which will be very positive. And I think working with businesses would be something which would really lead to the change. So I don't think it's a uniform thing. Correct.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that insight. And with this, my friends, we have reached towards the end of this particular session. But before we conclude, let me take you all to the very important part of this session, and which is voting on resolution. I request my technical team if they could please share with us the resolution of this particular session. My friends, this is an important piece of work that we always do in every session, wherein we show you a resolution. And technical team. Nilesh, can we have, yeah. So this resolution is now being shared with you. I would read it out for you, and then the voting lines would open, and the voting lines you would be able to see on your screens. You'd simply have to click yes or no. In few minutes, few moments, we would be able to see the resolution on the screen. Just few more moments, I think. Nilesh, any challenge? Great. So the resolution, okay. Nilesh, it went off again. Okay, can you you can also open the resolution window. Don't start the time. I'll read it from there. That is also another option. There seems to be some. Okay. Okay, the time has started, guys. Okay, so please read the resolution quickly. I'll read it for you. We, the participants at the International Conference on Eradication of Biological and Chemical Weapons, request that governments of all the countries in the world must declare a 10-year agenda and program plan to achieve the targets of SDGs by 2030. The voting lines are already open. Please cast your vote. I repeat, we, the participants at the International Conference on Eradication of Biological and Chemical Weapons, request that the governments of all the countries in the world must declare a 10-year agenda and program plan to achieve the targets of SDGs by 2030. If you all agree, please click yes in front of on your screens. If you do not agree, please click on no. Last few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the time is up. I hope we got a little less time this time than a minute to cast your vote, but I'm sure you must have cast your vote. If I may see the results, team. Okay. Oh, great. So everyone, those who have cast their vote, they have cast in the favor of the resolution. Thank you very much, everyone, for your support. Thank you very much for standing by the resolution. And before we now conclude this session, I would like to request the Pro Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, Group Captain DP Apte, to kindly propose concluding remarks and vote of thanks. Apte sir, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was really a nice session where all people, because it was not a highly technical, and we all could really understand what is going on in this. And we also realize that how this climate change, poverty, and pandemic is related. In fact, the speakers had said that it is a wake-up call for us, because this made us to rethink and revisit, and particularly the implementation of that. 17 SDGs, although they are quite good, well elaborated, but the implementation side is an issue, and it should be more inclusive for the common people also, and industry also is involved in this particular case. Also, we talked about this increasing requirement, pace of attention, because we have fallen back on certain grounds definitely. Climate and things that improved, but otherwise poverty point of view, we have fallen back. We have to probably accelerate our pace towards achieving these goals. We also heard very simple and path-breaking ground reality from Sant Baba Balbir Singh, and he actually told what is the actually ground reality and how he has achieved it. It was such a simple and flow of language that we could really understand what he wanted to communicate. So, on behalf of MIT World Peace University and our founder president, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karat, I sincerely propose a vote of thanks to Shri Saurabh Gupta ji, founder director of Earth 5, and also I propose a vote of thanks to Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai, and he has talked about his experience on this. I also propose a vote of thanks to Sant Baba Balbir Singh, Seechewal, and I also propose a vote of thanks to our Dr. Gufran Beig, for whom we have heard many times, and every time we hear his presentations, actually we should get these presentations for our students. We should bring them and show it to our students. So they carry a lot of information in simple ways that our students can understand. Thank you very much, sir, for coming and delivering this particular speech. Through this web meeting, we could connect to all this. Otherwise, getting all these thought leaders here becomes difficult. Otherwise, logistically, physically, they have to travel. I also propose a vote of thanks to our Vice Chancellor, who is a motivation and us, and he's all the time available from morning to evening, any webinar, whatever it is that he guides us all through. Thank you very much, sir, for being present in this. I also propose a vote of thanks to our daily friend, Aniket, and earlier, although he had some initial hiccups in connection, but now he was there and he could express his thoughts in very short speech which he gave. Thank you very much. I thank all dignitaries as well as those who work behind this particular scheme. Thank you very much. God bless
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for proposing vote of thanks. And indeed, as you rightly said, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, was also here with us. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. But let me quickly share with you that our next session is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. sharp, few minutes from now. The 10th session of this conference, Role of United Nations in Eliminating Weapons of Mass Destruction, Priorities and Prospects from the Eyes of the Youth. So please join us at 4 p.m. sharp and let us discuss yet another important topic in session 10. Thank you very much for joining in. See you at the other end. Thank you.